So for an example, we want to see that a national study that shows that in 2006 the average price of a gallon of gasoline was $2.51 per gallon. The population standard deviation was known to be 61 cents. In a 2007 random study of 81 Maryland gas stations, the average price of gasoline was $2.73. Is there evidence to suggest that the average price of a gallon of gasoline is more in Maryland in 2007? And we're going to test that at the 10% significance level. Null hypothesis is our first step. Remember, we're assuming that if there's no change in the economy, if there's no change in social structure, all those other confines, that the sample mean is going to be equal to the population mean. However, in this case, the alternative is suggesting that X bar is greater than mu. And here's why. If we look at where the question is being asked, is there evidence to suggest that the average price of a gallon of gas is more in Maryland in 2007? We're going to collect some variables. We're going to need 5 of them. So the variables that we have are mu, X bar, N, sigma, and alpha. Mu is the population mean. That's the largest the largest sample that we have, or the largest, it's everybody included. In this case, in 2006, the average price of a gallon of gasoline was $2.51. So we're just going to say 2.51. The population standard deviation, okay, and this is an extremely important statement right here where it says the population standard deviation. Population standard deviation, as soon as we see that phrase, that means we know we're dealing with a z distribution or the normal distribution. We can right away say that sigma is 0.61. We say that there was a random study of 81 Maryland gas stations, so N is 81. And the average price of a gallon of gasoline of those 81 samples is $2.73. Generally, the mean that is associated with the sample is going to be the sample mean. So wherever you find N, whatever mean is associated with that, that's going to be your sample mean. Significance level, 10%, given to us very easily. Now we're going to go through. We're going to construct the distribution. It's a right tail test. Here's our distribution. Range of values 0 to 1. We shade our region. Remember, 1 minus alpha is going to be for the right tail test. 1 minus 0.10, or in other words, 0.90 is going to be the cutoff. So anytime we get a p-value that's going to be greater than 0.9, that means it's going to be a reject. Anytime we have a p-value that's going to be less than 0.90, that's going to be a fail to reject. We're going to go through compute the p-value. First, we need to get a z-score. Our formula for z, x bar minus mu over sigma over square root of n. I'm going to substitute what we know about x bar, mu, sigma, and n back into our formula. We know that x bar is 2.73. We know that mu, 2.51. We know that sigma is 0.61, and then n is 81. And we get all of those variables just like we do all the time. We go back up and we find all 4 of those variables that we're substituting back into our formula. We're going to throw that into the calculator. Of important note, whenever you're computing a z-score, make sure you put a set of parentheses around the difference. And also put a set of parentheses around the denominator as well. You could do all this in one swipe, so you don't have to hit enter or anything like that. And I got 3.25 as my z-score. Right? And please check that just to make sure in your calculator that you're able to get that z-score. We're going to convert that by using the z-table. So we're going to go to the positive side of the z-table. We're going to look up 3.2. We're going to go all the way over to 5. and again, verify with me. I got 0.9994 for my p-value. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to go all the way back up. We're going to plot that on the distribution. 0.9994 is almost 1. Probably falls right about there, almost 1. Okay, so our p-value is 0.9994. And what that means is that there is enough evidence to reject the null hypothesis. All right, so as I've done before, I'm going to go up and copy the questions that were just out of sheer convenience. And we're going to say that since the p-value falls in the reject region, we reject the null hypothesis. Hence, there is evidence to suggest that the average price of a gallon of gasoline is more in Maryland in 2007. So I would suggest go back, make sure that this all makes sense, maybe work through the problem again, and then try to work the next one on your own just to make sure that you're capable of doing that.